Hey ladies, it's me, Christina Marquez. Really, my name is Rito. I am a real boy. I know there was a little bit of debate if Christina was a real boy or if she was transgender or if she was just like a cross-dresser, if she was a drag queen or whatever. But this is me before makeup, before lashes, before fun hair and wigs and, you know, all that great stuff. I do want to let you know that I am a boy. I live my life as a boy, and this is me. So I guess the cat's out of the bag. I don't know. But yeah, there's no question. I am a real boy. All right. So my topic was corporal punishments. And should it be still pushed in school? Should teachers or principals have the ability to spank, whip, you know, your children? So this is my topic, and this is what I'm going to talk about. Or I'm sorry, and the subject also said, if it was pushed in school, do you think our kids of today and tomorrow would be more respectful or more just better kids? I have a big opinion about this because when I was in school, I was terrified of going to the principal's office. We had a waiver to sign. My parents had a waiver to sign to see if, you know, we were allowed to get spanked in school, or if, you know, the teachers could spank us or whatever. And my mom always chose no, just because she believed that it was her responsibility to discipline me. Not that she didn't let other people discipline me, like my grandparents or my aunts and uncles, but she believed that, I guess in school, she thought that she should be able to reprimand me or, you know, discipline me at home. Luckily, I've only been in trouble one time at school, and I was like in first grade. We moved into a different town. I didn't know anybody, and so I was trying to make friends, and I was in second grade, first grade, I don't even remember. It was just the crazy part of it was I was terrified. I got in trouble for talking, of all things, talking, because I was a jabberjaw. Like when I was in school, I always talked. And so, yeah, I got in trouble. My teacher told me to stop talking. And of course, me being me, didn't. So I kept on, and I was like talking to this girl, and she grabbed me by my arm. I remember she grabbed me by my arm and she was like, go in the hallway. It's, you know, you're in trouble. So I was like freaking out because my mom taught me if I got in trouble in school, that it would be 10 times worse at home. And so I was terrified, so scared. And so the teacher came to the hallway and was like, do you understand what you did? And I was like, yes, freaking out, crying. I was like, please don't send me to the principal's office. I'm so scared. She was like, no, I've told you plenty of times, blah, 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 all that, you know, what teachers do. And so I went, and actually, no, I didn't go. I stayed in the hallway, and the principal came to the hallway and brought his paddle. And like I said, it was a new school. I was terrified. I didn't have any friends. Like, it was just crazy. And he came and he was like, okay, well, we're going to give you spankings, because in that school, they didn't have to sign a waiver. I remember my mom was so pissed that I got a spanking. Anyway, so I got a spanking in the hallway, and I cried. I wanted to stay in the hallway, but my teacher was such a bitch that she made me go back into the classroom after I got a spanking, or after I got paddling, however they call it. And I was like new again, and I was scared, and I was just like, you know, like, what the hell? Like, why did I just get spanked for talking? Because talking is not a bit, like, if I was hitting somebody, or if I was, you know, cutting somebody's hair with another pair of scissors, or if I threw glue in somebody's hair, like, that would be a reason for me to get in trouble. But I was talking, yeah. So whatever. But okay, so back to the topic. I'm sorry, I just ramble on. Oh, that was my phone. Probably my boyfriend. He's awesome. So anyway, I believe that if people are scared, or kids are scared to get spankings in school, I think that they would have a little bit more respect. I'm not saying that all students respond to physical discipline the same way as I did. My mom was just overprotective, and she put the fear of God into me. Like, I was scared to get in trouble. So, but for other kids, I think it all just depends, because it depends on the parent. Some parents don't give a crap about what you do or what you say. I was talking to a friend, actually my roommates, I was talking to them about this subject, and he told me a story about this kid that was just like, fuck you, you're the teacher, I don't give a fuck what you say. Like like a kid saying the F word. Like, I'm a grown-ass adult, I can say whatever I want to, but he was a child, like probably 7 or 8. His kid's in 6th grade, okay, maybe 10. But still, a 10-year-old really cussing a teacher out? No, that is not acceptable. Like, I could not be a teacher these days, because I would want to choke the children. I commend all teachers out there, all principals, like, y'all have a lot of shit to deal with, and I'm not the one. So, but I don't know. Like, I think that if teachers were allowed to, or if principals were allowed to more, and if it was pushed more in school, I think that students would be a little bit more reserved, or more disciplined, and just, you know, respectful. I think it all boils down to respect. Personally, this is my personal opinion. These days, parents don't care. Like, they do not care. Not all, but a lot of parents don't care. That's why society's gotten so bad, because maybe they were raised by single parents and their parents didn't have time for them, so they just like raise themselves, and then they're like, it's like a domino effect. Like, that person has a kid and they weren't raised very well, so they're not going to raise their kids very well. They're just going to go by what they learn. You know, you lead by example. And I think that's what happens a lot, because families aren't like the way they used to be. Like, families eat at dinner, you know, back in like the 70s and 60s, they would eat, everybody had to sit down at the dinner table and eat dinner. Like, you weren't on your phones, you weren't watching TV, you weren't using the TV tray, watching the football game. Like, parents and like families were family. And so, I think that if we could get back to that, I think a lot of the problems that we have now would be different. So, but yeah, it all boils down to how you're raised. I really 100% think that, if parents would quit worrying about their social lives and about who they're dating, you know, I don't have kids, so I really can't, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, because I don't have a kid, and I know probably we'll get somebody saying, you know, you don't have kids so you don't understand, and you have to juggle jobs. And I respect you. I respect you 100%. You have a job or 2 or 3 jobs, and you're a single mom. Or for dads that work all the time just to support your family, I respect that 100%. But I also feel that if you're going to be man or woman enough to have a kid, I think that you should get your shit together and take care of that kid. Like, I don't know. There's just so many different types of families. Like, for an example, preachers' kids. People say they're the worst kids. They're the worst kids. You know, they always go out, they're partying, they're drinking, blah, blah, blah. It's because when you're in the ministry, a lot of preachers and a lot of, you know, ministers, they don't have the time to mentor their children. They're always about the church, the church, the church, the church, or, you know, what they're involved in, missionary and all that good stuff. It really takes a strong person, woman or man, to raise a child right. I have my best friend, one of my best friends, I'm sorry, her parents both work. And her dad has worked all his life, and she remembers, you know, him working all the time, but he would always make a time. It's always about time management. I think if you want your children to be raised right, I think you should definitely put time aside. I mean, they're your babies. They're your children. You should want to spend time with them, not just, hey, go clean your room. Hey, go wash the dishes. Hey, go clean the yard, rake the yard. You know, I don't think that you should have children if you think that way. I think when you say, hey, I want a baby, I really want to nurture that child, and I really want to take care of that child and just love that child. And when they do mess up, or when they do something wrong, definitely spank them. I'm 100% about spanking. These parents these days are like, oh, I don't spank my child. Oh, I don't spank my child. Are you kidding me? Bust that ass. Like, really bust some ass. Because if my kid throws itself down in the store because they didn't get some candy or a toy or whatever, baby, believe I will either drop everything I'm doing and bust that ass in the car or in the bathroom, or I'll be like, okay, all right, little Johnny, you wanna act a fool in the school, in the store? I got you. All right, just wait till we get home. And see, my mom used to say that when I was little, and I pray to God, oh, let her forget, let her forget, let her forget. Hell no, she did not forget. Like, she'd be like, oh, remember what you did in the store? And I would be scared the whole ride home. I'd be like, I love you, Mom. What do you want to do? You know, like, I love you. You look so pretty. Hell no, it did not work. Like, my mom, we would get in the store. I thought she would forget. I would go in the living room like, oh, thank God she forgot. She would put the groceries up. My dad would, you know, help her put the groceries up. He would unload the car or whatever. And I would be sitting in the living room just watching TV. I'm like, oh, good, she forgot. She hadn't said anything. No way. Like, she'd be like, okay, let's go. I'm like, what are you talking about? You acted a fool in the store. Now I'm gonna bust your butt. My mom doesn't cuss, so she would say butt. But not me. I'd be like, little Johnny, let's go. Because you were not fixing to act a fool in the school or in the store or anywhere in public, like especially in school. Because if you don't respect your teachers, baby, believe that ass will get busted. Like, no, we're not having that. Me and my boyfriend both have talked about children, and we both believe in spanking. Like, that is number one. I think that children get away with a lot because they don't get spanked. They're not scared of anything. My dad wasn't allowed to spank me just because he's crazy. Like, he was crazy. He spanked me one time, and I was probably 3 or 4. It was before I went to school, and I accidentally peed in my pants. And I knew, like, I had a problem, bad problem about it. I know it's kind of weird and gross, but whatever. Anyway, so he spanked me, and he grabbed me by one arm, and he had his belt, and he was spanking, like crazy. I had marks on my legs, on my back, like everywhere, like, because I was running, and he had me by one hand. He didn't make me sit down or anything. Anyway, long story short, my mom was like, hell no, you're not going to do that ever again. You're not allowed to spank him. I think my dad honestly got scared because he just, like, kind of lost control. And so, yeah, ever since that age until when I was, you know, never got spankings again, my mom always disciplined me with a belt. And it was always with a belt. Like, it was never with, like, a stick or a, you know, anything like that. It was always a belt. She got my dad's belt, spanked the hell out of my ass. I learned the lesson, never did it again. I was done. Like, I'm like, okay, well, that's something I'm not going to do anymore. But that's just how I operate. Like, if I get in trouble for something, then I know not to do it again. Most of the time. But I don't know. Like, I think that children should be disciplined. I think that spanking is okay. Granted, I think that it's a parent's decision if they get spanked in school, because I had a lot of friends that did get spankings in school, or paddling, should I say. They call it paddle. But they never learned. Like, they would go to the principal's office like every week. I'm like, dude, why are you going to the principal's office every week? Because his parents weren't good parents, and because his mom was always working and his dad was non-existent in his life. Like, it really does boil down to your kids and your parents and how they treat you and how they act. Thank God I had a great mom and dad that really raised me really right. And I don't regret anything that I was taught when I was younger, because it makes me the person that I am now. And I love who I am, and I'm happy to say that. I used to not be happy to say that. I used to be really scared and ashamed of who I was because I was too feminine, or because I wasn't manly enough and things like that. So anyway, I had a good childhood. My mom was amazing. I love her so much. And my dad was a great dad. He did exactly what he needed to do to provide for our family. So yeah, so corporal punishment, I think that if kids were scared to get spanked at school, I think they would be a little bit more disciplined and a little bit more reserved. I think that they would not do it. But again, my 100% opinion about this is it all boils down to the parents. If your parents discipline you at home and pay attention to you, then I don't think that kids would act out. I think that they would be okay, and they would respect their elders and their teachers a lot more. So yeah, that's my topic about it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope that everything goes great. I hope all the voting is still going great. But thanks so much for listening to me. Again, yes, I'm a real boy, but I'll just dress up in drag. So yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a great time. Bye.